Hello, everybody. Welcome to my channel. A happier you leads to a healthier you. I'm your host, Coach Asha Mariama. Thank you guys for joining me for this episode or on my podcast on Spreaker. I'm Goddess Asha Mariama. I appreciate you guys for joining me for this episode. If you guys like the commentary and you want to hear more, please go to Spreaker.com/finding your inner peace and tranquility. If you guys want to hear all of my podcasts, go to Spreaker.com/my name, ASHA.MARIAMA, and you'll see all of my podcasts. But if you want to sponsor my channel, or you want to be a guest on my channel, or you want one-on-one coaching, or you want to just send me Dear Asha letters, or you just have something you're going through and you just want to talk, or a particular topic that you'd like for me to talk about, please just go to my name, just add a dot, ASHA.MARIAMA01 That's ASHA.MARIAMA01 A little about me: I am a certified recovery, healing, and recovery coach. That's all about helping people on their paths and their journeys to a new and better you through self-discovery. I specialize in mental health practitioning, wellness and well-being practitioning as well. I help people when it comes to physical, mental, psychological, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, and internal and external health and wellness. This one is my health and wellness channel that I do once a week on my podcast. I normally do it Sunday, but yesterday I didn't get a chance to do it because I was out with Mom, and we went to go see my nephew and his new baby, so we didn't get a chance to do so. So I decided to do it today. I'm not on my actual computer. I'm actually on another computer that I bought. So I'm testing it out to see how it looks. And so I just wanted to see how these backgrounds kind of went. But they're interesting, to say the least. So I'm just testing it out and seeing how it works. But hope you guys are doing well. And on YouTube, I appreciate you guys joining me for this episode. That for those of y'all that will see this later, because I didn't plan this. It was just a spare of the moment video because it was kind of on my spirit. This is more of a personal episode. It's not something about information. I mean, the information that's going to come from it is going to help, but this is more of a personal type of video, more so. So I'm going to be winging it. So this is not going to be something that's just about information. It's personal. The reason I didn't go live or do anything the past weekend, because I've been pretty much reflecting on some things. My health and wellness is something for years I've been struggling with. Everything from scoliosis to mental health to psychological health to emotional health. And when I was going through what I was going through physically, which was the last part of it, no doctor could really give me answers. Nobody could tell me why I couldn't walk the twice times that it happened. Nobody could tell me why I had to have my gallbladder removed, and why was it they never told me as far as the situation with my gallbladder being removed, why it had to be removed. Why didn't they tell me prior that I had an infection in my gallbladder? Why am I constantly having hernias? Why is it that I'm in chronic pain? Nobody can explain to me why I'm going through what I'm going through with my throat even now. I have doctors that just cannot give me an explanation. They know something is going on, but they can't quite figure out what it is, and they don't want to remove it because they don't know exactly what it is. It's just speculation as far as why I'm going through what I am going through. And that's really a struggle, honestly. It's just like somebody that can't understand why it is they're doing everything right, but yet everything wrong just seems to happen and they can't necessarily explain it. But I will say this. Some of us, some things we ain't never gonna understand. Some of us may not ever get any type of answers because we're getting the runaround. You have doctors telling you, oh, there's nothing wrong with you. Oh, there's something wrong. You're not in my body. You have no idea how I feel. You have no idea what I'm dealing with. It's just like when you try to tell your parents you're being bullied and they don't believe you. And they just say, oh, just suck it up, act like it didn't happen. It doesn't work that way, unfortunately. I would love to say that it works that way, but in all actuality, it don't. It don't work like that at all. You would think that it would, but that's not the way all of this works. So you have a lot of people that are sitting here going through a bunch of things, and there's just no explanation. Nobody can tell them why they're going through what they're going through. All they know is they're going through something. And the first thing they want to do is give you medication that only temporarily solves the problem, but it doesn't permanently solve the problem. It doesn't make the situation any better, to be honest. It's just a temporary fix. It's just like a person that's going through drugs and alcohol. They're only going to give you something to numb the pain, but not fix the problem. And in the medical field, we have too many people that's trying to numb the pain, but not fix the problem. And that's why I created this page, because I've been for years trying to figure out health-wise why I'm going through what I'm going through. But luckily, I found some answers. So let's start with my throat. In my throat, on this side here, there's either something stuck because for some reason I can't throw up for some reason, and stuff just literally keeps getting stuck right here in this area in particular. This side is fine. This side is not. They're saying my thyroid is fine, but they did say that I have to get a tooth root pulled. And now we're finding out that teeth can actually grow back. Well, is one slowly growing back in my tooth, so I'm starting to believe that. But when it comes to infections, yeah, antibiotics are good, but they don't solve the problem completely. Because the only thing it does is it basically gets rid of some of the bacteria, but not all of it. And the reason why is because every time you go to the bathroom, that same bacteria is coming right back. So, for example, are we supposed to really be eating solid food? And let me give you an example of what I mean by that. I'm talking about food that gets stuck in your digestive system and it cannot be digested, which in terms is why you're bleeding and why you're having hernias, because you're straining yourself and it's just making things worse. So are we really supposed to be eating a lot of solid foods, or is it that everything's supposed to be grinded? So for example, I had ate something, and I don't know if it was kale like a few weeks ago. It might have been longer. But one of the stems went down my throat, which could be the problem because I keep tasting something. But you're eating steak, for example, and steak is like, depending on what steak you get, stew beef is hard to chew. Should we be eating stew beef? No, it's too hard, and when you chew it, it's not even about the fact of food being digested. It's about the fact that we're not chewing our food correctly. That's one of the problems as far as people weight loss or weight gain is concerned. The reason why a lot of people can't lose weight, and it's going to shock a lot of people, it has nothing to do with food. It ain't even got nothing to do with exercise. It's all about how you chew your food and what foods can be digested and what foods cannot be digested. because I noticed that ever since I've been having issues with my throat, I'll give you a good example. If I eat something, it will get stuck in this area, right in this area here. And when it gets stuck, what happens is it ends up in a situation where I feel like I'm choking. So imagine you feel like you're choking, and your large and small intestines are going through the same thing. They can't digest food because there's food stuck because you're not chewing your food correctly. Now, how something just as simple as that can make a difference. Let's say, for example, our food has a lot of things that cause allergies. What if you're not having allergies because you're literally allergic to food, but it's the chemicals that's in the food that's causing you to have an allergy? So what if we're not really supposed to be having food allergies, but it's not even the food that's the issue? That it's the chemicals, it's all of the stuff when they manufacture the food to make food last longer. What if that's the problem? What if that's the issue? What is it if you look at, let's look at this for example. This is Metamucil right here. So what's in Metamucil is just follicite glycide. That's it. This helps you as far as going to the bathroom. So would this help you cleanse your system? Partly, but you're also going to have to do a parasite cleanse. You're also going to have to continue flushing yourself out, because water is not going to do it. Water is not going to help you when it comes to number two. It's just not. That's why laxatives are always the good thing. You have to start eating like prunes, cranberries, because the whole point is to keep your blood, your cells, your tissues, all of these things clean. But most importantly, your intestines. Your intestines can't afford to be infected. That's where a lot of your bacteria infections come from, which in terms causes a lot of the kidney issues, liver issues. Like right now, I got a cyst on my kidneys right now, which ain't good. But they say right now ain't nothing they can do about it right now. But if it continues to hurt, they have to do surgery, which they may more than likely have to do. It's just like when it comes down to your medications, like this is his hair, skin, and nails. Now, on the box it says no synthetic dyes, artificial flavors, no dairy, artificial sweeteners, high fructose corn syrup, eggs, fish, no gluten, no lactose, no shellfish, soy, wheat, yeast, milk, and milk derivatives, no peanuts. But if you read it, it's got a bunch of stuff in it. Some of this stuff you may not know what it is, and you're going to have to get an app to figure out whether or not this stuff is good for you. But see, it's always that other ingredient part, or it may say other ingredients, or it may say inactive ingredients. Those are the things that are your issues. So again, if you made your own supplements, would that be better than buying somebody else's? Because the whole reason all this other stuff is in here is not because it's the original ingredients, but that's what it's going to take to make it last longer. They try to make food and stuff last longer, but is that really a good thing? Like these are allergy pills, for example. So when I read the back of the box, I got to make sure it says, I got to be very mindful of what I buy, because sometimes it may be manufactured in a place where they do shellfish and seafood. You just never know. So it's important that you look at everything you buy and find out what's in it before you decide to eat it. People now are more so growing their own food and cooking their own food at the house because it's the healthiest way to go. But here's the problem. What if it's just a fact that we need to change how we cook food? Meaning, do we need to make our meats a whole lot thinner? Do we need to make them more digestible? Do we need to make our corn where we make it more, where it's more like the corn, like really, really like, like baby food type of food? Maybe that might be the best thing, eating oatmeal, potatoes, even though these things are starches, but at the same time, they're easily digested than having steak where it's stuck in your intestines. So even though, yes, you do not see chicken, you don't see steak when you go to the bathroom, but that doesn't mean it's not stuck. So even if you eat cakes and breads and cookies and things like that, it's dry. Your whole body has liquids and solids. So if you eat bread, you have to drink some. Why do you think you have to drink some down behind it? Because if you don't, it'll choke you. So it's not like you can make bread where it's moist to where it's digestible. So it's all about having foods that are basically essentially digestible. Because somebody that has throat issues, even when you get older and you lose your teeth, guess what happens? You're not able to eat solid foods. So guess what you eating? Applesauce. You have to have all your stuff, pretty much blended, because you can't eat it because of the fact that you have no teeth. So if you take away teeth, how will we be able to chew things? You wouldn't be able to chew nothing. You just be swallowing it. Which the whole point of teeth is to be able to chew food to where it's digestible if you're going to eat something that is not where it can be blended. So at the same time, if we were to have where things that could not be digestible blended. So for example, it's no different than having strawberries, blueberries, and all of these different fruits, and you're basically throwing them in a blender and you're making a smoothie or you're making ice cream. Well, guess what? Those are the easiest things to eat because they're actually broken down before you even eat it, versus having something that's not broken down and your intestines can't digest it. So again, your intestines carries a lot of weight, a lot of waste, a lot of parasites. They like your intestines. So the one thing about parasites and bacteria is they love sweets. They love foods that have stuff that's bad for diabetes. So some people are born with diabetes. Other people, they get it from weight gain. And so even if you cut out bread, that still don't mean you're going to be healthy. It still don't mean mentally you're going to be healthy. Psychologically, you're going to be healthy. Emotionally, you're going to be healthy. So the best way as far as health and wellness to be healthy is going to be about what you consume and what you acknowledge. So in other words, all the information that's coming to you via your brain, and you're deciding whether you're going to consume it, whether you're not going to consume it. And then based upon that, you make a decision, you make a choice, and then action and behavior. So those four things is why we are or are not healthy. So because of our actions, choices, behavior, decisions, that's why we're not healthy as we should be. Because if we were really making the right decisions, a lot of people wouldn't be sick right now. A lot of people wouldn't be dying right now. But again, it comes down to making your food digestible, making sure what you're eating does not have a bunch of chemicals in it, making sure that every day you're exercising. But I don't like the word diet because diet doesn't do anything for you. Diet is just a temporary fix. Just like medication is just a temporary fix. It's not a permanent fix. The only way you can have a permanent fix is if you change your lifestyle You grow your own food. You make your own dishes out of what you made. So as far as like meat is concerned, you need to make it so it's not stewby. You might have to end up taking a fork and just pull pork, eating it that way, and making sure it's easy to digest. Because pulled pork, aka barbecue, is easier to eat than steak. So you got to be mindful of that. Also, 1 pound is this whole entire bottle. So you would be able to eat this whole entire bottle. That equals up to 1 pound. So if you want to know what 1 pound is, it's actually this here. 1 bottle of water. 16 ounces make 1 pound. So this is how much you would have to lose. Well, if it was filled up all the way to the top. This would be how much you have to lose in order for you to be healthy. 16 ounces of water. So imagine how much you would have to work out to lose this 1 pound, 3,500 calories. So again, this feels heavy. And the reason it feels heavy is because it's weight, aka water in here. So again, weight doesn't necessarily have to be fat. Weight can be water retention, it could be a hernia, it could be fibroids, thyroids, something irritating the body. It can be that you're overeating. It's just like with babies. Do I think that babies should be eating table food at 2? No. I think they need to wait. I think that's part of the obesity issue, is that we're introducing our children to regular food too soon. I think that we have to start off with mashed potatoes, starting off with something that's kind of like still, where it still can be blended, but not solid foods like hot dogs, hamburgers. No, I think we need to wait on that stuff, because giving a baby those things, considering the grease that's in them, is not good for the baby. So I just think we need to hold off on giving our kids regular food till they at least get about 3 or 4, because that is part of the problem. We've been sitting up here eating stuff, not saying that it's not healthy, but what makes it healthy? What makes exercising the right thing to do? Because y'all got to remember, back in the day, you used to have to hunt for your food, and you ate it, and it lasts you for a couple of days. So if you want to know why those people back then lived longer, because number one, they didn't have grocery stores, they didn't have lab meat, lab vegetables, none of that. So I just want people to understand that when it comes down to this stuff, a lot of things that were back in the day, a long time ago, we don't do now. So it's just something we have to sit there and think about. We just do. So when it comes to health and wellness, I don't think any of this stuff works. I just think it's about taking your food and making it where it can be consumed by your stomach. Meaning you don't have to worry about anything being stuck in there. You eat it, it just goes through. If that means shredding the chicken, if that means having chicken hamburger versus, that type of thing. Now, turkey's never really been an issue. But another thing that also the issue is the fact that we talk while we eat, which is never a good thing, which is a bad habit I'm trying to break now. You got to take the time to chew your food. That's why you need to just sit back and just eat. Because if you don't, make sure that you are basically essentially checking everything, there's going to be a whole other problem. So when it comes to weight loss or weight gain, it can be many different things. But nobody's really 100% healthy. Nobody. Everybody got some type of issues they got going on that impacts and affects their health and wellness. Don't act like you don't, because you do. So again, it's all about taking our food that we get from the grocery store and trying to chop it up as small as possible and eating it that way. because that way you ain't got to worry about it. So, for example, if you got a salad, for example, and you're using spinach as far as lettuce, you better make sure you chew it thoroughly before you swallow it. The last thing you want is for somebody to end up choked, which has happened to me. So all I'm saying is be mindful of the advice you give to people. You never know if they're going to take it or not. But I wasn't going to be on here for too long because I'm getting sleepy. But yeah, on this channel, we will be talking about the things I've learned as far as health and wellness that is different than what you've been told. And a lot of it is not true. The only way you really can be healthy is, number one, making your food where it's chewable to be digested, making sure it's digestible foods. Number two, the chemicals that's in our fruits and vegetables and different things like that. We need to get into stuff like that too. So there's really a lot to unpack. It really is. But the one thing I've learned is that it's worth it in the end to be able to see the results. So it's not just about losing weight and just trying to, keep the weight off just to get the man. No, it's about losing weight and keeping the weight off. That's what's important. It's about a lifestyle. It's not about a diet. It's about a lifestyle. It's about being able to basically cleanse out your cleanse out my throat hurts. Cleanse out and detoxify your body. And you need to do that at least once a month. If you haven't went to the bathroom in 24 hours, get you a laxative and start taking it. The one thing about the body that is so amazing is how it adapts. Either it adapts, it rejects, or it accepts. But either way it goes, go make a decision. Sometimes you may appreciate something, and the other person like, nope, same thing. So, like I said, if we were able to digest our food the way we're supposed to, and not only that, when it comes to working out, there's another thing that probably a lot of people think, okay, if I go and I'll do a walk and I go and I basically work out, I'm going to lose weight. That's not true. That's not true at all. Because again, if you're not dealing with every other part of your life, mentally, psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, all of those things, you're never going to be healthy. Because it's all about your decisions and choices, actions, and behavior. That is what it's about. Every decision, every choice, every action, every behavior. That determines how healthy you're going to be. Because, like I said, you never know what may or may not happen. So just be, mindful of that. When it comes to exercise, the only way to really lose weight, you would have to work out each and every time you eat. Because here's the thing. If you work out in the morning and then turn around and eat, you're going to get them pounds right back. You're going to gain all of this back. And that's the one thing about these type of bottles and why I say when it comes to weight loss, it's really about this, because every time you eat something, you're replenishing these all over again. And that 1 pound that you lost don't even matter. Why? Because it's being refilled into one of these bottles. So just be mindful of that. Just be mindful of the fact that every time you lose weight, you are going to gain it back. Why? Because if you don't work out right after you eat, and then lunch when you work out, eat, and when you eat dinner, work out afterwards. Or don't work out to the end of the day. Don't walk to the end of the day. I mean, nothing wrong with walking, but make sure you also do a nice exercise as well. That's what I recommend, because that's the only way you're going to be able to lose weight, because you can't lose weight if this 1 pound is constantly being replenished. So every time you lose 1 pound and you turn around and eat, you just replenished everything that's in this bottle. And you're trying to lose weight, not gain weight. So I'm just saying. So you have to make sure this does not plenish. That 1 pound that you just basically got off of is not going to be able to come back and wait and run its little head around. So just be mindful of that. Is this an easy journey? No, it's not. So I'm going to show y'all a different way of losing weight. And not only can you do this and you can maintain it, but you can obtain it, you can also maintain it. Because it's really, really simple. is just changing the way we go about eating and then exercising. And then not only that, mental health, psychological health, emotional health, spiritual health, those things are also important as well. So that's pretty much it for me for today. I just wanted to come on here and just do this little short video about, is health and wealth, is everything we've been told correct? No. Because there's still other things that you have to consider. The intestines, you got to consider the tissues, the kidneys, the liver, the heart. There are other things you have to consider. So it's not as black and white as y'all might think. It really ain't. Because there's some things missing. So that being said, I think that's it for me. My throat's starting to hurt. So I'm gonna get ready for bed and get some rest. Cause I said I'm going to bed for 10 o'clock. So I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I will be doing my finding your inner peace and tranquility and from darkness to light, for darkness to light at the same time. So I'm excited about doing both of those. But I just wanted to do this video because, like I said, health and wellness is important. And not only that, I might also put this on what you consume platform as well. So I'm gonna add that there as well. So even though it's not what I first originally said, I decided to add it. So with that being said, thank you guys for joining me for this episode. I'm your host, Goddess Asha Mariama. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and notification button. And we will talk next time. Bye, y'all.